everyone, welcome back. We're going to start our practice today just standing tall with the arms resting alongside you. With the feet shoulder width apart, crown of the head lifted up towards the ceiling and the chin slightly tucked in. And just see if you can find the 3 points of the feet, the heel, the big and the little toe joint. Let the weight settle between those 3 points. And then just growing up from the feet, checking the knees aren't locked, letting the arms relax. We tend to use a technique called ujjayi breathing, which is that gentle hissing sound at the back of the throat, forming a light bit of friction, which slows everything down. Allow the inhale and the exhale to become a little bit deeper. Watch how the breath opens the space in the body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, just noticing how the tummy muscles draw in gently and letting the weight of the body root down through the legs and the feet. In a moment, we're going to take some arm movements. We're going to take 4 movements with the arms out to the side, keeping the arms really light and just moving from the shoulder joint. When you're ready to breathe in, you're going to let the arms float out to the side to halfway. And as you breathe out, you're going to continue to let the arms float up as you root down through the feet. Stay as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, we're going to lower the arms down to the side, all the way down to your starting position. Breathe in, take them to halfway. Exhaling, continue the movement, the arms floating up overhead. Stay as you breathe in. And then breathing out, the arms float back down, maintaining that direction through the feet and the legs. Inhaling, floating to halfway, fingers long. Exhaling, take support through the legs as the arms float up. Stay as you breathe in, the breath opening into the tummy. Exhaling, lower the arms all the way down. And then repeating. To halfway as you breathe in, all the way as you breathe out. Don't rush the inhale, let it seep in nice and slowly. And then exhaling, lowering with the length of your breath. Great, so the next movement we're going to take is the standing forward bend. This time as you breathe in, you're going to take your arms up in front, all the way this time. Then as you breathe out, feel your tummy muscles draw in and we're going to hinge forwards from the hips, taking the arms down towards the legs or the floor. And staying for 1 breath as you breathe in, letting the spine lengthen, the back flatten, shoulders drawing back. And then exhaling, just dropping down, hanging from the hips, letting your spine lengthen. As you come up, use the feet to push you up, letting the arms float all the way up as you breathe in, and then exhaling, going straight back down. Staying for a breath, letting the back flatten as we come into what's called sthiti, spine long, and then exhaling, dropping down from the hips, letting the arms go. The arms are really light as we breathe in and push down through the floor to come up. As we breathe out, we're going to go straight back down. So notice the whole of the movement is happening in the pelvis, anchoring from the hips. Staying for a breath in the posture. Nice long breath out. Using the legs to push us up, pushing down through those 3 points in the feet as we come up. And then this time we're going to breathe out and lower the arms. And then we're going to step forwards with our left foot to take the warrior posture. Drawing the left hip back so the hips are square and keeping both feet rooted to the floor. As we breathe in, we're going to keep the back leg straight, and we're going to take the arms all the way up to the side and bend the front knee. And then exhaling, we'll lower the arms and straighten the leg. I'm going to take 3 more. As you breathe in, opening, keeping that back heel rooted, feeling a bit of a stretch down through the back calf muscle, and then exhaling, lowering and straightening. Arms are nice and light, bending the front knee as we come up. And if you feel any twinges in the lower back, then just lean the torso a little bit further forwards to reduce the curve in the lower back. Breathing in, raising the arms and bending the front knee. And then this time we're going to stay in Warrior One for 4 breaths. As you breathe out, see if you can maintain the direction through the back heel. Keep that back leg straight. And then inhaling, opening across the front of the thigh, the tummy, all the way up through the chest and the fingers. Use the full length of your breath as you stay. And then after 4, we'll breathe out and lower the arms and straighten the knee. And we can step back, ready to do the other side. Checking the feet are parallel, and then taking 4 repetitions on the right side. So breathing in, raising the arms and bending the front knee, and then breathing out, lowering and straightening. Breathing in to Warrior One, bending the front knee, raising the arms up over the head. And exhaling, keep that length in the spine as we lower and straighten the knee. Try and keep that back leg straight, opening the front of the body as we breathe in, maintaining the length as we lower and breathe out. Let's take 1 more and we'll stay for 4 breaths. Using the exhale to maintain the support through the back heel and the front toes. Using the inhale to open the space across the front of the body. Taking 4 breaths. And then lowering as you breathe out and straightening the knee. And then we can step back. Take your time to settle before we take 1 more movement in the standing forward bend. So with the feet parallel, we're going to breathe in, raise the arms up over the head. And then as we breathe out, we're going to bend forwards as if we're leaning over a bar, so moving from the hips. And this time we're going to stay for up to 4 breaths. If you want to, you can hold the elbows and let the upper body hang loose. And as you breathe, see if you can still work with that micro movements of the breath. So let the spine lengthen, the chest open as you breathe in, and then exhaling, gently dropping down towards the floor. You can have the knees bent as much as you need to if you're a little bit tight in the hamstrings. See as you stay if you can imagine you're breathing into the back of the legs. Give the muscles time to lengthen and release. When we're ready to come up, you can keep the arms as they are, but we're going to breathe in and push down through the feet, letting the arms float all the way up over the head. And then as you breathe out, we can lower the arms back down to the side and just rest in standing. For the next part of the practice, we're going to come down to kneeling. So we'll sit back onto our heels and we're going to take a sequence in the kneeling forward bend, coming into cat and downward dog. See if you can use your breath to guide the movements and keep the movements nice and smooth and even. We're going to start by coming up into a raised kneel position, so just standing up onto the knees, letting the arms hang loose. And then on an inhale, we're going to raise the arms up overhead, opening the space. And then as we breathe out, just like the standing forward bend, see if you can hinge from the hips, take your hips all the way back towards the heels and let the arms come to the floor. As you breathe in, you're going to come through onto all fours, lifting the chin slightly and dropping between the shoulders. And then exhaling, we're going to tuck the toes under, lift the hips as high as we can into downward dog. I'd suggest starting with the knees bent so that you can focus on that length in the spine. And then inhaling, coming back into cat, releasing the toes. Exhaling, lengthening into downward cat, taking the hips back towards the heels. And then on an inhale, push down through the knees and let the arms and the hips float all the way back up. As we breathe out, we can lower the arms back to our starting position. We're going to take that 3 more times. Breathing in, raising the arms, and breathing out, bending forwards. Take the hips back, engage your tummy muscles. Inhaling into cat posture, coming through onto all fours and lifting the chin, shoulders relax back. And then exhaling, tucking the toes under, pushing down through the arms to lift the hips as high as you can, starting with the knees slightly bent. If you're okay, you can stay for a breath here. Otherwise, come straight back down on an inhale. And then breathing in into cat, lifting the chin. Release the toes, lengthening the back of the body as you breathe out and go back towards the heels. As you come up, push down through the legs, keep the toes anchored to the floor so the arms float up. Exhale, lower the arms. If you feel out of breath, take a breath in between, and then take 2 more. Breathing in, raising the arms. As you breathe out, engage your tummy muscles. As you hinge forwards, take the hips back. The arms come forward as a counterweight. Nice smooth movement as we breathe into the cat posture. And as we breathe out and tuck the toes under, you can use the arms as a support to lift the hips as high as we can. Trying to flatten the back, take the weight out of the shoulders, and then let the weight drop down through the heels. As we breathe in, through into the cat posture, lifting the chin slightly, releasing the toes, breathing out, downward cat. And then breathing in, raising the arms and the hips. Lowering the arms as we breathe out. Taking 1 more. Breathing in, raising the arms. Breathing out to bend forwards, engaging the tummy muscles. Breathing in opens the chest as we come into cat posture. Softening between the shoulder blades. Breathing out into downward dog, lifting the hips as high as we can, let the head go, knees slightly bent. So you've got the option of staying in downward dog for a little bit longer this time, taking 4 breaths, using the inhale to lift the hips nice and high, find that length in the spine, and then exhaling, dropping the heels, maintaining a little bit of support in the tummy. See as you stay if you can imagine you're breathing into the back of the legs. Give the muscles time to lengthen. Once you've taken 4 breaths, coming back through the sequence into cat as we breathe in. Downward cat as we breathe out. And then raising the hips and the arms. And lowering the arms back to your starting position. And just resting in Vajrasana, the kneeling posture, letting your breath settle. For the next part of the practice, we're going to lie down on the floor on our backs with the knees bent, feet about shoulder width apart. We're just going to take a little bit of movement which helps us to understand the relationship between the pelvis and the spine and the difference that the orientation of the pelvis makes to our posture. As you breathe in, you're just going to draw your tailbone up towards the shoulder blades, noticing how as you tilt the pelvis forwards, the back arches. And then as you breathe out, you're going to tuck your tailbone towards your heels and notice how the back of the body flattens. See if you can make the movement really smooth. It doesn't have to be a great range of movement, but just notice how when you tilt the pelvis forwards and backwards, it changes the shape of the whole of the spine. We're going to carry on with those movements and incorporate them with some movement in 2-foot support. As you breathe in, you're going to continue to tilt the pelvis forwards, and as you breathe out, you're going to tuck the tailbone under, tilt the pelvis back, and then this time you're going to lift the hips as you come towards the end of the out breath. As you breathe in, you're going to raise the arms up over the head, and then as you breathe out, we're going to lower the arms and the hips. Breathing in, tilting the pelvis, drawing the tailbone towards the shoulders. Breathing out, flattening the back and lifting the hips. And then breathing in, taking the arms back to the floor behind you, nice and wide. As we breathe out, lowering the arms and taking the hips down towards the heels, unwinding the spine. Breathing in, drawing the tailbone up towards the shoulder blades. Breathing out, drawing down towards the heels and lifting the hips into 2-foot support. Keep the feet rooted. As you breathe in, let the arms float all the way up towards the floor. And then as you breathe out, lowering and unwinding. Breathing in, tilting the pelvis, and breathing out, flattening, pushing down through the feet to lift the hips, nice smooth movement, opening the front of the body. Breathe in, take the arms back, and then breathe out, lower the arms and the hips. And then we'll rest at the end of this movement. Turning the palms up. And if you want to, just bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees roll out to the side, resting in Supta Baddha Konasana, letting go into the floor and just working with the movements of the breath. Breathing in, imagine you're breathing into the hips. And breathing out, just seeing if you can relax the effort, softening the knees, allowing the sacrum to melt into the floor. If this posture isn't comfortable, then just taking Shavasana, lying posture, making sure that you're really comfortable. When you've taken a few breaths, we're going to bring the knees over the chest to take a little bit of counter posture. We're just going to take Uttanasana, hands glued to the knees, and then as we breathe in, just letting the tummy expand, and as we breathe out, drawing the knees towards the chest as we empty the tummy. Inhaling opens, knees move away, and exhaling, emptying, letting the knees come back. And then take 2 more. And then finally, we're just going to take a passive stretch, bringing the left knee over the chest and stretching the right leg out onto the floor with the toes pointing upwards. And just holding both hands onto the left knee and counting 6 breaths. Breathing in, imagine you're breathing into the right hip. Direct your breath into that space, and then as you breathe out, allowing the left knee to draw back. Once you've completed 6, just swapping over to the other side. So bringing the right knee over the chest, stretching the left leg out on the floor, toes turned up, heel pointing away, and counting 6 breaths. Breathing into the left hip and feeling the right knee draw back as you breathe out. You might feel a bit of a stretch across the glute on the right side. Keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. Once you've taken 6, just stretch both legs out into Shavasana, turn the palms up. Give yourself a moment just to be still, letting go into the support of the floor. To bring our practice to a close today, we're going to come up into a seated position. If you're comfortable sitting with your legs crossed, then you can sit on a block so that you can keep the spine nice and long. And if sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable, then maybe coming into a kneeling position or sitting on a chair. We're just going to take a little sequence just to free up the neck and the shoulders. Sit with the crown of the head lifted, the back of the neck long, and the chin slightly tucked in, so head in a neutral position. And then we're just going to take Ujjayi breath, but as we breathe in, we're going to lift the chin a tiny amount as if we're drinking in the air. And as you breathe out, you're just going to let your chin drop slightly and feeling the back of the neck lengthen. You're going to repeat that 6 times, drinking in the air as you breathe in, and then lifting up through the back of the ears, feeling the back of the neck lengthen as you come back to neutral on the out breath. Once you've taken 6, we're just going to sit quietly for a moment, just preparing for the day ahead, breathing easily, coming back to our natural breath. Take your time to finish when you're ready.